Check, check, check. Boom, boom, boom. It was like that. Whenever I'm just starting, it's like, boomer. There we go. Ooh. Let me turn this down. Hold on 1 second. Almost with you. What is up? It is 2:02. 2 minutes behind, but I'm here. Visiting with this hour power. Here we go. Today actually is being sponsored by the Urban Indian Health Institute of Seattle Indian Health Board. So right off the top, we want to thank them for making today possible. And today is a little chit chat, if you will, about leadership. Jolene had asked me, hey, would you mind just kind of talking a little bit about leadership, maybe youth leadership, and what that means in my world, and man, and what I'd like to do today. Usually, I come on here, and I have like a prezi, and we go into the screen and have a bunch of like a presentation. Today, instead, I kind of wanted to just chit chat. So you can't see it, but over here I've got the live pulled up. Actually, let me do it in a way that I can see comments. All right, here we go. Working this technology out. It's a little delayed, so by the time I see it here, we may have moved on. I may have to come back to it. But if you want to just do a test real quick and put a little high five in there, or put a little what's up, where you're from. I see you. British Columbia, I think, is in the house. I gotta zoom in. Jeez Louise. Southeast Alaska. Oh, what up? Cool. Give a little bit here for people to kind of join us as you're joining us. Hawaii, Jaje Wite, Marcus. Hello, my name is Marcus. I'm Osage, Potawatomi, Delaware, Puerto Rican on my dad's side, also known in some circles as MC1. Official DJ for Nike N7, and I DJ for currently the Oklahoma City Thunder in a little experiment we're working out for next season. So play for the players now and the in-game timeouts, halftime, quarter breaks, etc. But it's a cool partnership with NBA franchise. That's kind of cool to carve that out. And today, like I said earlier, we're Port Townsend, Seattle, Washington, Oglala. What up? Today we're gonna chit chat about leadership. Jolene is pretty much an example of Native Wellness Institute. All their leaders and trainers always exemplify many different qualities of leadership. And so I usually come on with, like I said, a PowerPoint, Prezi, little presentation deal, and we flip through some charts and we go through all this. Today was a little different. I kind of wanted just to chit chat, ping pong back and forth in the chat here with leadership, what it means to you, what are examples where you're at. And there's been some pivotal, like, trajectory changing leadership principles in my life over the course of, growing from rugged to professional in a leadership capacity in high levels. It doesn't mean I'm perfect or that I'm an expert or got everything figured out. But at this stage of the journey, there's some leadership attributes that have been key to some of my turning out to this point, that rather than another point that could have been possible. So I put half a dozen of those in a little here, these little principles, and I'm gonna pull them out one by one, and we'll go through them, just little bitty ones, So they won't be in order. We'll go all over the place. They'll be random. And we'll just chop up what they mean to me, and maybe they'll mean something to you in the process. And we'll just we'll chit chat, and we might not even take the whole hour. Just so you know, we might chill for a little bit, go through some of these, and then if we wrap up, we wrap up. So let me see here. We got Wind River, Arizona in the house. What up, Kansas? Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, my name is Marcus, MC1, Leadership Principles. I usually start with this belief systems rundown in a Prezi. We don't need to go into like the super crazy details today, but just to put everybody on the same page, usually I have people just kind of understand the framework of how our belief systems are formed: beliefs, feelings, actions, habits, personality, destiny. Your destination points in life are linked to the things we believe. The things we believe, our rights and wrongs, come from places that can have false information. And we usually do a whole thing of, hey, where do you get your rights and wrongs from? I get them from parents, I get them from society, I get them from media, I get them from all these different places. All these different places have, none of them are perfect other than deity or creator. So outside of deity, every place that we get our rights and wrongs from have the ability to give us false information. And we can get shrapnels of false information in our belief system that then filter through those little lies, those filters of our belief system go to our feelings, our actions, our habits, our personality, ultimately leading us to destination points in our life that we didn't plan for or we didn't want in our life, negative destination points, because we believe a lie, whether we believe a lie about ourselves, our community, a lie about what leadership means. In this case, a lot of times when I'm dealing with relationships, we talk about there's all these different places where we can gather false little shrapnels of false information, and that can forever hick us up when it comes time to try to navigate our course. And so we replace lies with truth. Cool thing about truth is, you know truth is fair. I love truth. I lived a life that was pretty unfair growing up, and when I ran into the concept of truth, what was cool about it is that you couldn't buy it off. It didn't pick its family when it got elected. And so truth is just truth, flat out. So when you find nuggets of truth, you can chart your course by them. And I have a few of those nuggets that have helped me along the way. And the way I like to present them or share them with people is, I'm not the end all be all, know all of everything. So if there's something that's said today that's noteworthy or good, then just give creator, just take that, use that, apply that. And if there's something that doesn't work, throw it out, and maybe it's for somebody else. And so this is just submitted in a good way. And so these are different leadership nuggets or principles that have helped guide me on my path. And just so you know, man, when I say start off rugged, sheesh, rugged. And there was a trajectory change. And it's process, right? It's a journey. It's an evolution. And when you fall in love with things like greatness, when you fall in love with things like, the people and the cause, leadership can have funny implications, especially Western culture and how we view and how the word leadership is used. So I was talking with my buddy today about Osage leadership, and like a term. I was like, hey man, I'll be real cool, man. I'll be a keen guy, right? Have the word for Osage word for leadership. Be keen Indian guy, and he's like, bah, it's positional in our tribe, that there's different words that specify a certain meaning. So your leadership word, and I won't mispronounce them right now because I'm trying to work on some of my languages, but my language words usage. But what's cool about it is that in our tribe, leadership is based on position. So there's a word for the position that you hold, and that position that you hold carries with it a certain role and that an attribute. And what's really cool is you don't run for that. So you're nominated or you're asked. So like somebody would, traditionally, if you exemplified certain character traits, the community that knew you would say, man, this girl would be good for XYZ, right? This person would be great for XYZ. So they would know, and then they would come to you and ask you, could you imagine, just for a second, before we dig into the hat here and pull out these little leadership nuggets, that have helped me and might help some of you. Um, could you imagine a society that didn't run for a nomination, but instead were asked based on the character and qualities of their life and how they treated people and how they were in everyday life, that we saw that and then said, you know who would be good in that role for us would be this person. And they'd be like, dang, I got asked to do this. I didn't run for it. I didn't seek it out. I didn't shoot for it. That's crazy, huh? Let's see here. We got welcome everybody. Yep. Today is our 317th Power Hour, week 56. Man. Woo. You're right, Karen. This is a journey. We're going to take this little journey together. Oh, man. Thank you. All right. So far, these little, stars. Okay. I'm old school. I don't know nothing about stars. So people send stars. I guess they're good. Whatever. I'm learning that. So forgive me for not knowing what stars are. I think I'm staying in here with these. I'm trying to keep watch here. If you have something we want to chit chat about, we can go with that as opposed to what I'm saying with the construct of leadership. Okay, so digging into my hat here. See how I put that branding. See how I did that? I mean, it's upside down, but you get it anyway. First little nugget we got today is criticize in confidence, praise in public. Leadership principle. Criticize in confidence, praise in public. This is a leadership principle that has helped helped me in a leadership capacity. And where this is really helpful is for some of you young folks, but really all of us in general. This really comes into help in social media. Because boy, we love to get online and be right and be jumping in people's comment sections and blah, 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 right? And be like, oh, what? I can't believe. But did you see in the comment section what she said? So one governing rule of mine in leadership is to criticize in confidence and then to praise in public. So sometimes even in social media, when something would be a disagreement, I'll pull somebody to the side. Because the goal is not for me to humiliate anybody or the goal is not for me to, because you know what? In humility, I could be wrong or I could have it all, out of whack. I could have told myself a story and I could be in error. What if I blasted somebody and I was wrong? Then what? So it's always best just to think about that principle of, if you're going to have something critical to say, it might be constructive. And when you want to do that, it's cool to pull that person to the side and then praise in public. Man, who doesn't want to get like a shout out, right? Who doesn't want to be like, hey man, the other day I saw you and that was dope. Like, man, I saw that thing you did. That was great. Praise in public. And one of the other things that does for your leadership is that builds equity. I'm not saying be like flattery with the sake of like just puffing people up and blowing smoke, they say. Not that. But I'm saying just, praise in public. If I have something critical to say, I'm gonna pull that into the chat. I'm gonna pull that out of the comment section. I might have a conversation with that person, text them, call them directly. And that has been proven to be helpful. What y'all got? Yeah. Hearts and likes. What's up, Bakersfield? Yeah. Another little leadership nugget. If you see these and then you're like, oh yeah, wait, remember that one you said? You want to go back to it? We can. Let's see what we got here. Little leadership nugget. Don't be taking this no kind of way now. Trust in y'all. Assume the position before the title. Don't even go there. But what that means is do the work before you try to have the status, right? The leader usually is more focused with the outcome, more focused with accomplishing something rather than being called something. And that's a self-check even internally as you grow and as this journey is for you. For me, it was a journey that I had to self-check sometimes where I found myself attached to the title and being called something. And it kind of feels good to be something, or especially if there's been trauma and your identity has been knocked at and chipped at, and in comes this replacement. And instead of building and having healing, you want to replace healing with a title. that'll just kind of band-aid your identity to say, oh man, I don't know who I am because I've been done this way and I've gone through this. And so I'm confused about who I am. And I don't have to face the healing process in that. Instead, I'll just be executive director, such and such. I'll just be council person, such and such. Or I'll just be, I'll mask that with a title. And then I can put I don't have to do the work of the healing part. Because healed leaders heal others. And so that's part of the journey. Remember, the answer to trauma is always healing, not titles or extra work or running out and burying yourself in, it's a lot of times this work can feel like it's so community driven and it's so positive. You feel like I'm doing all this. Well, we do this as an extension of what's been done in us. So assume the position first before you try to do the title, right? Just make sure that that you have that priority set, that I don't really care what I'm called as long as we're getting this done, right? If I want lower diabetes rates, let's lower the diabetes rates. You can call me executive director if you want, I don't care. But in the meantime, let's lower these rates. If there's a community cleanup project, I don't have to be the coordinator, but I might coordinate it. But you don't have to call me that. It don't matter. In the meantime, I'm calling everybody and we're going to coordinate. And it don't matter what you call me. It matters that it gets done. Leadership principle. Oh, you're very welcome. Actually, giving is healing. Yeah, that could be part of the healing process there. Let's see. Another little. Now, leadership principle here. I have no idea what these are, random. It's a little nuggets that have helped me. Maybe they'll help some of you. It will always cost followers more than leaders. Man. Okay. Whenever you say an absolute statement like that, met with people like, what do you mean always, because leaders, blah, 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 blah. So if I make a crazy decision as a leader, so for instance, I run a company. It's a small company, but nonetheless, it's still a company. And if I make decisions that are favorable, I can then employ or, spread some, let's say just on a generic example, I can pay extra people. If I make boneheaded decisions or wrong decisions that then hurt the bottom line, I'm going to do what? I'm going to shrink. The first people to go is not me. The first people to go that go without finances I'm not going to be able to hire that person now. Or, like for instance, when I was real busy, this is like kind of an example, I guess. When I was real busy, I have a guy who helps me with my lawn, right? Well, during the pandemic, I couldn't, I had to cut that back. I was like, sorry, man, I'm gonna have to mow it again. I'm gonna have to figure that out because, this is pandemic time. There's a shrinking. So then he lost revenue. I lost revenue. He lost revenue. We still, maintained our life, but that hurt him. So as a leader, we want to always think about our impact. We want to think about the decisions that we make don't just matter to us. They also matter to those following us. And they matter to the followers, people that are following us, they matter to them on a multiplied level, not just singular. They matter sometimes even more. That's why, I know that sobriety isn't necessarily for everybody, but one of the reasons that I walk in sobriety from alcohol and drugs is not, from necessarily just a spiritual point, but it's because as someone who stands before of a lot of youth, what leaders do in moderation, followers sometimes do in excess. And I know sometimes that it could hurt the followers more than the leaders. You see all these top people, the execs and stuff, it's always, the last in, first out. So as a leader, you want to go in thinking, okay, I got to make sure I'm being very careful with the steps and decisions I make, because not just me relies on those decisions. I have to think of others when I make my decisions. It builds humility into that. That's where that nugget helped me, is it helped build some humility into the leadership process. Juneau, Alaska, what up? What up, Florida? Nice. For those just joining us, we're just kind of going through some little leadership nuggets, chit-chatting about them. Some of these may help, some of you may help others. Here's another little nugget here. Oh, this is supposed to be add critique without quitting. You can have critique without quitting. So, and as a leader, you got to be able to have thick enough skin to have somebody be critical and not make you just take your toys and go home. That's a phrase we use. Now, don't just take your toys and go home. I'm taking my ball. I'm going home then. Jeez, right? That happens a lot. We see a lot of leaders, you can't tell them nothing. You can't tell them, hey, man, this would be a little bit better if you did this. And you try to give them a little constructive, little help, and then they collapse on you. So as a leader, you want to remember when someone's giving you feedback, you want to process it. You can push back. You might not agree with it. It's not saying that you have to agree with everything critical, but it just means that you don't want to take that to a personal level. You don't want to collapse, right? You want to be open. You want to be open to the idea that maybe it could be improved. Because you know what? Everything could be improved. So and if a broken clock is right twice a day, you never know who could give you a good answer or a good critique. Could be somebody that you would least expect it, that out of their mouth could come just the critique you needed to get you to that next level. Because you'd be like, oh man, you know what? I'm glad I listened to them because they were right about that one thing. So never be too big or too, bad at to where you can't receive some critique or feedback. Let's see. Chasing platform versus clout. Man, so for some of you little older heads, clout, these little young kids talk about, they do everything for clout. They're doing everything. So clout is this, kind of social currency of oh man, he or she, this person's doing this, and whoa, ooh, the hype around somebody. For me, this leadership nugget is trying to stay faithful to the purpose, not just the platform or the clout. The things that happen because of the platform are what we're typically after. So leaders, there is a group out there though that, if you're not careful, they're just wanting clout by any means necessary, and they'll take that if it means leadership is the way to get clout. Then man, they're gung ho. If the platform is a way to get clout, then let's go get platforms. But it's not substantive, right? And so leadership is supposed to be about the purpose and the productivity that it accomplishes, because you're doing a thing. You're leading by example and you're accomplishing a thing. If we're all going to drive somewhere and in the car there's 4 or 5 of us and we're trying to find something to eat and one person knows the area and they go, oh, I know a great spot. Okay, they're a leader. They know where the place is and they're not trying to be some super clout person, right? So we need to just be mindful that we're not chasing. Man, I know all these, I'm being real right now. I know all these people that just want to be seen. And so you have to ask yourself if that's what you're really wanting. So I speaking from experience, when that's what itch you're trying to scratch, why is that? Why are you needing to be seen? And why are you needing to be advocated in that capacity? Are you missing something somewhere that you're trying to get scratched in that place? And that goes back to our healing journeys. And that goes back to some of our trauma. I had so many deficiencies that I was trying to fix by, so if I didn't get the nourishment and nutrients from my parents and my mom, my mom she had 2 kids by the time she was, my grandma had 2 kids by the time she was 15. And my mom had me. She was 14 when I came out, 13 when she was pregnant. So, you put all that together and that's like a crazy, crazy backstory. So at some point you have to decide what the purpose is and not just clout. Is that the thing we're on? I'm not sure. Yeah. So it could, anyway, those background stories can cause deficiencies to make you then mask them with, again, just like titles, platform or clout can be your can be your band-aid and not your healing. So you gotta think, why, what itch am I scratching here with this? Why do I need that? So, ooh, I shouldn't have looked first. I looked first. Sorry on this little nugget here. See what we got here. Exactly. Nice nuggets. Nuggies. Word. Checking in late. What's up, Rainbow Falls? It's all good. Just little leadership nuggets, little round robin here. We might not take the whole hour. These are principles that have helped me, may help some people. And this personal versus principle. As a leadership quality, this determines how I confront. I do not confront on personal. I try not to. This is, it's like I said, it's a journey. But as a fundamental rule, I do not confront on personal. If something is a personal attack on me, or if I've been wounded or hurt in a personal regard with somebody else, my leadership quality kicks into where I'm not trying to advocate for myself and fight for myself on a personal level. Well, they called me this. They're attacking me. Like, oh my gosh, man, if it's personal. So for me, I have prayer, and we have for different. Hi, my cat in the background. You might hear her. We have our different spiritual ways of. That's where I take my personal conflicts. I take them spiritual, and for some people it's a prayer closet. Some people it's sage, it's smudge. Some people it's ceremony. Whatever it is that you use, that's what I use for my personal conflict. Someone's attacking me for my weight. Someone's attacking me for my DJ skills. Somebody's mad at my achievement and they're just laterally coming at me. I can feel that on a personal level, and it's baiting me to respond personal. But that's not leadership. Leadership, for me, one of the nuggets that's helped me is not responding personal to personal. Instead, I sift everything personally and sift it, get the personal out of it first. If at the end of sifting it, I go, there's still a principle here. There's a principle element here that may need to still be addressed. Then I can confront on principle. So I only confront on principle. I never confront on personal. And that's been an amazing leadership little nugget for me personally. That's allowed me to navigate through some very tricky political or strategic maneuvers in my life. Like when I look back, I go, man, because I didn't react and bite that bait of getting into the personal with that person, years later, that came back to help me because I didn't go personal. I instead stayed professional, and I only confronted when it was principle based. So hopefully that's helpful. Yeah, I see some people. Make sure this is working here. Yep. All right. We got a few of these. Oh, this one's sticking out. Oh, I forgot to center the logo there. You see what I'm doing? Crazy. Come on, catch it. Boom. Strength is for service, not for status. Oh, man. If this ain't, I almost want this to be a t-shirt because this has helped me a lot. Strength is for service and not for status. It kind of goes back to the platform and clout chasing in the fact that our strengths, our innate abilities, whatever it might be, your strengths that Creator endowed you with to help you in this world, those are meant for service and not meant for status. So it kind of plays back into that, where we want to be conscious that we're utilizing our strengths, our gifts, our talents for the betterment of all, instead of for how I look and for how I am, right? Here's what's kind of crazy is it does better you though. Like stuff does help you and stuff does end up working in your favor, but that's not why you do it. It happens anyway though. It's such a crazy conundrum. Once you let go of one system and shift, like those shirts that everyone else has, shift. Once you shift, this way of thinking is like that status is not the goal. I'm not chasing status. I'm chasing service. And when you chase service, guess what? You're probably going to have some status come along with it. But like I said earlier, status then comes with, if you're leadership minded, status is going to come with some humility, because you realize, man, they're kind of looking to me. So if they're looking to me, I'm going to have to be mindful of the steps I make, because there's implications for followers. So all tied in together, that one's been crucial for me, that as you get some accolades and as stuff starts coming your way, and you remember, what, these accolades aren't just for me. These accolades are for service. They're why I do. They help. They're a means to an end, right? And so, just so you guys know, my entertainment work that I do is leveraged so that I can speak into the lives of young people. I don't do the entertainment game with the entertainment bullseye in place. I've always had the entertainment lane so that I could, it's a means to an end. The end is the high school auditorium. The end is the community center where we do these conference keynotes. When we work in that capacity, leveraged by the work we do in entertainment. Entertainment was never the goal for me. Either is being in conference setting the goal, being in conference setting and then being impactful in conference setting, so that young lives might have a light bulb and go, whoa, that's the goal. Which means if I need to equip somebody else to do that part of it, I'm okay with being invisible and getting out of the way, because it's not about my status. It's about the service. I use my strength for service, not for status. So if that means I need to equip somebody else to do the work, I don't get no glory out of that, but that's okay, because I'm not in it for that. I probably help somebody. I think that helps somebody. I felt that one. Yeah. Shift is on the inside. Sure is. Status is an illusion. Yeah. You think that's air you're breathing? Yeah. The Matrix. Secure leadership can handle smarter, stronger, faster people. Here's one indication that you're becoming secure in your leadership. You're okay with stronger, faster people around you, smarter minds. You want that. You want your A team. You want your varsity squad. You want people better than you, because you can go further and you're not insecure by that. Insecure leadership, you always want to be, dang guy, gotta be top dog, gotta be smartest guy at all times. It's like, get it, so if you find yourself running into problems around stronger, faster, I'll just mean faster like in general, but then that is an indication for some homework. So if you're intimidated by their speed, intimidated by their talent and their gifts, then that's time to do leadership homework, inward homework, to say, what is that about me that is intimidated by that? Where have I, where is some healing that I need so that I can be secure in myself around other awesome people, right? Because I'm the only me on the planet. You watching this right now, wherever you're at, phone, computer, wherever you're at, you are the only you on the planet. You're the only you. 7 billion people on this planet right now, and there's only one you. Let that sink in. Can't nobody else beat you at you. You're the only. You're it. You're you. Can't nobody else be a better you than you. Be you. Be you. Shoot. Leadership nugget: do first, not just tell. You already know. You already know. So one of the words for leadership is that you do by example. I don't just tell people how to do it. We show by example. And that just goes, we don't have to belabor that, because we know that one. These are old ones. So true, positive, healthy leadership is one that's willing to show, not just tell. Status seekers, they love to tell. They don't want to do it. They want to tell everybody else how to do it. So you have to ask yourself, am I asking somebody to do something that I haven't done? Am I asking somebody to do something that I don't want to do? What's my leadership role here? It's different if you're asking somebody to do something you don't know how to do. That's allowing somebody else to take the lead. And that's humility, saying, okay, I don't know how to do this, so I'm gonna bring somebody in. Ooh, I peaked again. Sorry. Dang, this was crazy. See, ooh, the ego stat. Yep, gotta let go of that ego. Gotta check that ego. Come on, catch it. Catch it. There it is. Let the scoreboard speak. That one is I like this one because this one helps me on two folds, because the philosophy of let the scoreboard speak imply, it's a sports term. I know not everybody's a sports person, and I try to stay away from a lot of sports terms because for those that don't play sports, don't like sports, whatever. But when I mean let the scoreboard speak, it just means let the results do the talking. You know, it's like I said, I DJ in the NBA, and I get to see these players, you know, be some kind of way to each other sometimes. And every now and then you'll get a player that won't even respond. They'll just look, they'll just point at the scoreboard. I'd be like, man, just let the results do the talking sometimes, right? So you can point to those things that's what resumes you, instead of you walking around having to resume yourself all the time. You let the scoreboard speak. You let the results do the talking. And that is twofold. So on one hand, it's done in that way, but where it adds humility is you have to be open enough to also read that same scoreboard. And if you see yourself not, you know, accomplishing, you have to reapply yourself. You have to take your own medicine, so to speak, right? You have to be humble enough to recognize, okay, this isn't working. I may have to do some changing. Instead of me trying to change everybody to fit me and how I want to do it, it's not working. I got to look at the scoreboard. I got to let the scoreboard speak. So when I'm winning, I can let the scoreboard do my talking for me. I don't have to run around and tell everybody. But also, if I'm not, you know, if it's not working out, I got to also be mindful to let the scoreboard speak. Let the scoreboard speak to me too. Let it also talk to me and tell me, all right, you might need to switch some stuff up. Let's retool. Let's revamp. Don't be too prideful that you can't be better, right? That you can't change and adapt. We're never finished products. What's the journey? So we're all on it. We can all get better. Yeah. Lead by example. I love it. Okay, so see, I keep peeking. Sorry, let me put this up here. Remember, I said followers suffer more than leaders. They have more to lose sometimes than the leaders, because the leaders are insulated. Leaders can have a longer fall, though. So once this is part of the humility part. You know, when I think about leadership, I think about it as being an elevated platform. So you wouldn't take a baby and put it on an elevated platform. You wouldn't take somebody too young in leadership and exalt them too high, too fast, because they have too far to fall. And that's what happens with a lot of young, you know, fast out the gate. And social media can make somebody really become sought after, and you could be seen as a leader so fast before you've had any kind of infrastructure built internally. And that can be harmful for you, which is why I put in here for my leadership principle is that self-care is mandatory. This is a first aid kit for people who find themselves in leadership. You've been doing well, people have promoted you, and you find yourself, people looking to you. And if you're in that position of leadership, wherever that's at, then it's imperative that you initiate self-care around yourself to help yourself, so that so like for instance, some of my self-care is there's a scripture that says, like gold through the crucible and silver through the furnace, so is man tested by the praises he receives. So that one scripture is self-care for me to just say, be mindful of how, hey man, that was awesome, that comes with another side to it. and be careful of thinking, putting yourself up on a level too high before you're ready. That there's some humility involved, that you're going to have to, and that's going to have to come, that's going to have to be initiated from you. The leader has to initiate that, which is the hard part. So we have to, I'm constantly having to go, okay, I feel pulled on in these different areas. I'm going to have to go get mentors. I'm going to have to go get leaders, and I'm going to have to draw from them, because self-care is mandatory. Because I mean, just think, if I was, I'm not saying it's impossible, but if I was to be involved with something, you know, that hurt the platform of my leadership or whatever, that wouldn't just hurt me, would hurt so many followers, but the fall could be so devastating that that could hurt me to where I might not recover, right? That could be so traumatic. That, so we want to always safeguard. If you're headed into leadership, surround yourself with good folks that care about you, good people that'll tell you, dang guy, reel it in, you know, or dang girl, dang, you know, whatever. But our advocates for you at the end of the day. Self-care, mandatory. As you grow in leadership, you've got to surround yourself with people who care about you. And don't just yes people. They don't just yes you. You know, they're not just there for the clout. They're not just there for your platform. They're not just there to think, you know, to you know, fluff you all up. They're there to be part of your self-care plan. Cool. Dope. Yes. Yes, you can't pour from an empty cup. Boom. Boom, sizzle, says Susan. Yes, leadership comes with responsibility. Yeah. Come on, Rainbow Falls. Facts. I love it. Remember, yeah, dope. Remember, these are out of order. These are random. They're just leadership nuggets that have helped. They may help. They've helped me, so maybe they'll help others. Here we go. Yep. Secure leadership can take a compliment without conceit. I'll also say it can also take a compliment just in general, because some of us struggle with taking compliments without it puffing us up, but some of us struggle with taking compliments because we don't feel worthy, and that's the other side of conceit. You think you are still the focus, whether you think you're too good, you puff you up to where you're so good, or whether you feel like you're so unworthy, you are still the star of that story. And humility takes you out of that starring role. Humility says, no, purpose and mission. And so just thank you. Matter of fact, you can practice that anytime you want to. It's so liberating I'm just something that's hard for me. It's hard for me. People come up and I get blank in the face and I don't know how to take it. I don't feel worthy of it. I struggle with that in my journey with my trauma. That, you know, feel insecure, you feel not worthy, not adding up, never good enough. Grow up thinking that, and people throw compliments your way. It's like, really? I mean, you mean it? I mean, or you just don't have a shelf for it. You don't have a place for it. So over the years, I've learned just to be like, thank you. Just practice it. You know, just take it, receive it, and then also guard against, you know, like, heck yeah, man, sure, that's right, I knew it, I'm the best. Not that. You don't let it grow into conceit, but also you don't you also guard yourself from the shame. I don't know what that was. Something crashed. I don't know if you heard it or not, but we'll see what that was. It's a long one. I don't know what I wrote here. We'll see. Okay, yeah. Humble enough to share the win, but not above sharing or taking the L also. So we like to give credit for the win and take the blame for the loss. That's just a governmental principle in our leadership is, you know, when we win, credit to everybody else's. When we lose, buck stops with me. I must have missed something somewhere. So as the leader, I take that. And little story about that. I got a couple more. I did 2 shows with the Thunder. One of them, I did a halftime show, and with dancers, so dope. Went off without a hitch. Beautiful moment we had in the arena. The next morning on the sports show in Oklahoma City, Sports Animal, they were talking about the halftime show. That's how dope it was. Did another event at the end of the month, and I mean, it was a train wreck on sound, and we got out of there barely. But what was, I mean, 6 minutes is a halftime show, so you had to just kind of ride the wave for 6 minutes. But it was really hard. Sound was really bad. I don't know if they ever really fixed it enough, but nonetheless, afterwards, Taboo and I were in the dressing room and, trying to figure out how bad was that. And the head guy of production came in. Now, I had worked with this guy previously on the great show, and here we are on the worst show. And he said, hey guys, we're going to get to the bottom of what this was, but I just wanted to say, because I'm head of production, the buck stops with me. Even though we're not really sure what happened, it doesn't matter. It's still my responsibility. So on behalf of the Thunder and NBA, we apologize. If there's anything I got to do to make it up. And I thought, man, that's cool how he took that. Now his wife was there, his kids were there. They were all watching this big show. They brought this, this big, Grammy Award winner in to do the show. And it didn't go as well as they wanted it to go. And here this guy was in leadership. I thought, man, kudos, brother. And now I'm working with them on a day-to-day basis because we have similar ideas as far as leadership goes. But I thought it's cool that you're willing to take the L. It's okay. It's okay to take the L, Thanks, Patricia. Oh, snap. Oh. Some of these I even forgot about. Leadership is temporary. Oh, man. Let that sink in. Somebody needed that one today. Somebody needed leadership is temporary. You can't take it with you. It is not yours. It is not something that you get to hold on to and have forever. You can't own it. Man, when you get that, when that sinks in, it's also liberating. Because otherwise, you can get territorial and piranha mentality over your leadership. You get a little bit of status, a little bit of title, and all of a sudden now everybody's coming out for you. You got to defend it at all costs. Somebody's going to take it. Well, it was temporary to begin with. You couldn't keep it if you had to. So day one, as a leader, I'm looking for my replacement. Day one, I know it's temporary, so why not plan for it? I know I'm not always going to be. When we did this experiment, or we're currently doing this experiment with the Thunder, I'm thinking of the next DJ. Who am I building this lane out for? I've been DJing for Unity conferences for years, trying to build a lane for some young DJ to come fill that spot. You can't just stick any DJ in there. So it has to be someone willing to shadow enough and to do it. But I'm not protecting that, oh my God, you gotta be the DJ for Unity. It's one of the massive DJ dances about, in Indian country. And you would think you'd be overprotective of it. And I've been trying to give it away for like several years. And that role that I carved out in the conference of putting a DJ in a conference setting as a hinge piece, I'm trying to create that position for other DJs, for other youth. So leadership is temporary. Just know that it's not, you can't take it with you. I don't know who this is going to help. This is how I navigate my finances. This is how I navigate my bookings. This is how I navigate pretty much whatever it is we're called to do is under this grid. So the first thing that I look at when I'm looking at the calendar and someone asks me to do something is we look at how much money is there. That sounds shady. That sounds low. That sounds very shallow. But we don't make a decision on that. We just factor it. How much is it? Where is it? And how much is there in the budget? Right? We have to know that money. We have to know that number. So we know that number. First thing we find out is the money. But it's still shallow. We don't make our decision yet. Second filter we add is how many people are going to be there. Okay, because we might have some influence. Sometimes the places with more people have less money. And would you be willing to go to a place with more people and less money? That's a question for you. So we don't make the decision yet because we wait until our final filter. And the final filter for me is maximum impact. Where can I make maximum impact with my time? That might be the place with the least money and the least people. That might be a small 30-person gathering in a community somewhere. And it might not have the budget of a big conference or a federal program, but that might be where the impact is. And so that's where we try to stay focused as my leadership makers. I try to stay focused on that right there. Where can I accomplish that? Maximum impact. Where is that happening? Because that's what the goal is. The goal is impact. The goal isn't the other stuff. The other stuff takes care of itself as long as you're making impact. Yeah, thank you. We're almost out of here. A couple more. I don't know if we take a whole hour, but it looks like we're almost there. I don't have to belabor this. We kind of touched on this already. Insecure leadership is bothered by the gifting and talents of others. If you find yourself bothered by the gifting and talents of others, then that's time to do homework, self-reflect, where you're at in your healing journey, what it is what itch you need scratched to help you celebrate good things that happen to other people. So we do that. That's part of our mechanism. That's part of the oil that keeps the whole system flowing. Is that even if it's people that you don't even really know real well, I still celebrate their wins. I should have wrote it on one of these. Celebrate the wins of others. That'll help lubricate all of some of these leadership functions of keep you out of the insecure leaderships. And when something good happens for somebody, celebrate it. Man, instead of being like, man, why they get that? Psh, they didn't even deserve that. Dang, I've been doing this long. They get that? Okay, it's not in the notes, but so real quick. I had an opportunity to be in a movie years ago, and it was with William H. Macy, Lawrence Fishburne, Selena Gomez, and I had a speaking part. I had a role. My name is Carlos. I'm a painter in the movie. Anyway, while I was on set, I realized everybody 360 degrees around me were more qualified than me, but I was chosen. And there's something to do with the power of being chosen, that sometimes you're chosen, that many are called and few are chosen is another word or phrase I've heard before. There's something about being chose. And in that situation, I was chosen, right? I was chosen for that role out of people who I felt like were way more qualified than me. But for whatever case, I was chosen. And so coming out of that, I carved out space for other people who are chosen, because I'm not the best DJ. I'm not the most world-class cutter and scratcher, but I'm playing in the NBA. I'm chosen for that. There may be a spot that somebody gets that they're chosen at, and that's all it is. They just got chose, and you can celebrate that for them. Hey man, you got chose. Dope. They might not be the best, they might not be the most qualified, but it don't matter. They were chosen, and you can at least celebrate that. That'll help. That'll really help keep the lubrication of encouragement in our communities. Secure and insecure leadership. Well, this part, the toxic kind, they isolate, they gaslight, and they gas up. They isolate, they gaslight, and then they gas up. So if you're in a situation where your leadership is trying to isolate, and then if you're in leadership, you don't want to be somebody who tries to get a group to yourself. Hey guys, come here. Hey man, have you guys ever noticed whenever, see, you're trying to get a little group together. You're trying to isolate folks to get a cause and a movement started just around, you're trying to, build a little, not a mutiny, but I'm saying is that's the first indicator of why I got to isolate, why I got to pull people, unless I'm being specific to a mission that and I always speak directly to the person involved. So if I have a critical, constructive, let's say I had an issue with something. I mean, let's say Jolene, right? She leads Native Wellness. I wouldn't pull Robert and Thosh and say, hey man, I wouldn't pull them to the side. I wouldn't isolate them. I would privately go straight to Jolene, and then we would have communication. I call those crucial conversations. That's what we call them. Crucial conversations. That's when you want to get to an understanding. You're not saying you're right. You're not saying you're wrong, but there's a confusion. And so you go straight to the source. You don't go to other people and isolate them and pull them to your team and say, hey man, did you hear what do you think about? See, you're trying to that forms toxic leadership. And it's not saying that won't produce followers and give you some status that way, but is that the way you want your status to happen? Secure leadership doesn't isolate people from their group. Instead, is trying to secure the whole group and is out for the missions of the whole. So with that said, we got a final 3 minutes. What's up, Lummy Nation? Yeah, DJ Big Rez. What up? The Hope. I just wanted to speak this last little minute or so to the concept of youth leadership, and that they're not the future. Whether you're a young person watching this or you serve young people, I just wanted to end on the note of them having the power of leadership today, not in the future. Sometimes we say that because it sounds good, stitched on a pillow and a Hallmark card. You guys are the future. And we tell them that. I've told them that. I've sat in front of audiences and told them that they're the future, when statistically, I've accidentally told them that they don't matter, that they don't count yet. Sorry, guys. You guys are next. You're not right now. But when it comes to youth leadership, right now, they need to know that their leadership is current. Their influence is current. And we need to treat them and value them as such. So when you have young people, community members, staff, instead of thinking of them as next or kicking them accidentally to the kids' table, remember the power of social media. Man, these kids today, they are at the epicenter of a revolutionary table turn in influence. And these young people, if harnessed, could literally change the world if they saw themselves as the leaders that they actually were, and if they were supported by caring adults. We're already starting to see some change, but we would see even more change and lasting change. I want to thank you guys for letting me chit chat with you guys for a whole hour. Sorry, I didn't think I was gonna take the whole hour, but I'm glad we did. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. COVID still. No, COVID cough, where you're supposed to put it in here. I want to thank the Urban Indian Health Institute, Seattle Health Board. Thank you very much for making this hour happen. And for those of you who watch it later, thanks a lot. We appreciate you. We'll see you around. God bless y'all.